Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a long time. My garden has been neglected the whole summer and I would like to tackle a few things in the garden. So why don't you join me along? This is the state of my vegetable garden. There are some areas where nothing has been planted and some areas which completely grown wild, which would be my beans and bitter gourd. The beans have taken over the entire bed, giving the plants no air or sunlight. It is completely my fault because I did not give proper trellis for my beans to grow. But needless to say, they have been producing like anything. This is my third harvest from the patch. If you're wondering, these are yard-long beans, and I'm really happy that they thrived here. I'm going to harvest them now, the last of it, and remove the plant. Since there is already chill in the air, even though it is sunny, I'll not be keeping my summer crops anymore because I know they'll not produce anymore. For me, it is hard to remove plants when they're still lush and green, but eventually it is good because I don't have to waste resources by watering them. So it's better to remove now. While removing the beans, I tried hard to find the ends of the plants so I can remove them neatly, but it was not leading me anywhere, so I decided to chop everything off. It took a fair amount of time for me to finally remove the entire plant. But now, at least I can spot the bitter gourd plant, which I don't wish to remove now because I see some blooms still on them, so hoping for a batch of harvest. The next job for me was to cut the grass along the edges of my garden beds. They need to be kept trimmed, otherwise the slugs can easily crawl up. I'm using this tool. It is very easy to use and gets the job done in like few minutes, and it is quite satisfying to use this tool. Also removing some weeds which has grown into my vegetable patch. Just cleaning the space around the garden beds. Next, let us tackle the cucumbers. I don't feel like removing them now because the plant is giving me a signal that it still wants to produce. As you can see, there are a lot of blooms on them. I got a lot of cucumbers from this plant this year, and I'm definitely saving some seeds from them for next year. For now, I'll just clean up the plant, removing all the leaves that are damaged and infected from the end of season powdery mildew. Here I'm cleaning the damaged leaves of beetroots. This is my eggplant or aubergine. I don't know why, but eggplants generally don't do that well with my care in my garden. They have not grown big, and now there is not enough time for them to produce as well. Let's move to the chilies. They have produced a lot, and I'm going to harvest them now. That was the small harvest for the day. I'm watering my plants now. It was time for lunch and I'm taking a break. I'll see you in the evening. It is evening and I'm ready to tackle some more things in my garden. My brassicas for this year are growing in this long planter on the patio. They grew well but did not grow till maturity to produce fruits. Maybe it's because of the less sunlight that they receive in this part of the patio. Now that it is going to be cold, there will be less pests and I'll transfer them back to the ground so that they can get enough resources. I'll start by first removing this basil. As you can see, it has got that frostbite already. Next, I have some kohlrabies ready to harvest. As planned, let us remove the brassicas and plant them to my square foot garden bed. I'm taking as much soil as possible along with the roots to give them less transplant shock. One thing I learned this year was not to leave the soil uncovered. This will make the soil dry and lifeless and will only attract weeds. As you can see, I'm finding it hard to even make a hole in the soil to plant these brassicas because it has become too dry. The cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli have been moved. Next are the zinnias. They are almost at the end of their season. I'll move them to the ground. I'm not sure if they'll survive the transplant, but I want this long planter free for me to plant some flowers and spring bulbs. So I'll move them. If they don't survive, I'll remove them. I'm really loving how these summer flowers look in the backdrop of this pine tree. Last year it was sunflower and this year it is zinnia. I'm also clearing out my raised bed again for planting some flowers. The tomatoes are done. I'll harvest the last of tomatoes and remove the plant now. There are no more blooms on them and they look frostbitten as well. So anyway, they need to be removed. I'm harvesting this basil for drying. They smell amazing. I'll also try to move this crop indoors so that they can survive for the next season. The zucchinis, I'll let them stay for 2 more weeks. As you can see, they are blooming and it indicates that they still want to produce. So I'm removing the leaves that are damaged and affected by the end of season powdery mildew. So that is the news from my vegetable garden. Just getting some things done in the garden and making it ready for the fall. That was all about this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye and take care.